Hey everybody, Ian here. So first of all, happy February 7th, happy Super Bowl day. It's like 6:30 here right now, 6:30 p.m. It just started like quarter four, and I'm wearing my Chiefs hat, Kansas. But the Chiefs, last I looked right before I started this video, I'm not watching, I just kind of follow the score. The Chiefs were down like 9-31 as of like 2 or 3 minutes ago, so things aren't looking good. But maybe in true rom-com fashion, they will, rise to the occasion and celebrate a happy ending, and then I'm sure I'll go get laid. As the winning team does. Although I feel like the losing team would also get, sympathy sex. So either way, if you play in the Super Bowl, you'll probably have a fun night. But so anyway, I do have a surprise in store for this video, but before I get to the surprise, I just want to say, don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Those are all very helpful to me. But so anyway, the surprise, I'm using that word fast and loose because I assume you saw the thumbnail and the title and possibly the description to this video. But so if you came into this video, completely blind, the surprise is that I am doing a triple feature today. I'm doing three of, they're all similar movies, similar style. They're all the big, ensemble, 10 storyline movies with all the plots are, interconnected with each other. But what I did was, in order of watching them, it was Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, and Love Actually. Now, I don't even know where to start. What I'm going to do in this is I'm going to make a timer. A little 6-minute timer. And I'm going to spend 6 minutes maximum talking about each movie. I want this video to be under 20 minutes. I don't want you to have to watch me talk about three movies for like 35 or 40 minutes, even over 20 minutes. That's not what I want. That's not what you want. Let's not do it. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 6 minutes maximum talking about each movie. I'll go through I'll speed through my little reviews and then move on to the next one. And I'm going to do them in the order that I watched them. So I'm going to start with Valentine's Day and then New Year's Eve, then Love Actually. So, starting with Valentine's Day, I'll just start with my overall feeling on it, which was just, oh my gosh, truly awful. Onto the writing. The writing, it was flat and it was entirely predictable. I forgot to start the timer. It very flat, very predictable, so boring. It was so boring. That was actually one of the worst problems. Even a bad script, like She's All That had a bad script and it was not boring to watch. This was so boring. Like literally from the first scene I was so bored. One thing I did like about the writing though, and I want to give props to this, I try to give credit and criticism where they're due. My hope is that each of those things makes the other more valid. I love Mariah Carey, and I can talk all day about how all the things she does that I love, but I try to talk about, songs that I don't like, and I mean sometimes even entire albums that I don't listen to, because my hope is that makes it, if I tell you about like, oh, this song sucked, this album was not good, she clearly rushed through XYZ, my hope is that makes it more believable when I talk about all the things that she does well. But so I want to talk about something that Valentine's Day did well and actually did better than the other two movies. The only thing that it did better than the other movies. Or Love Actually. Valentine's Day did everything better, less badly than New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve was bad. But anyway, in Valentine's Day, there are like 10 plots. Oh, and actually, I forgot. I meant to just speed through the cast. I won't show pictures of them, but the cast is like stacked. I mean, it's Jessica Alba, Kathy Bates, Jessica Biel, Bradley Cooper, Eric Dane, Patrick Dempsey, Hector Elizondo. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I know who he is. Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Garner, Topher Grace, Anne Hathaway, Ashton Kutcher, Queen Latifah, Taylor Lautner, Taylor Swift, George Lopez, Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts, and Kristen Schaal. If you've seen Bob's Burgers, you'll know her voice. I feel like there's a couple others that really like stood out to me. I'm just flipping through. It's a really long cast. Those are all the, okay. That's mostly what I'm seeing. You know, those alone though, that's like 10 or 15 like really big A-list celebrities. But I think they spent the entire budget on the cast and left nothing for the writing. But despite that, the one thing that the writing did well, it's taken me so long to get to this, was that every plot, like every single plot, all 10 of them, were interwoven with each other. There were no standalone plots in the way that there were in New Year's Eve and Love Actually. Like literally every single plot line was directly connected to at least one, most of the time two other plot lines. You know, if there's couples A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you know, that one of the people from couple A works with someone from couple G whose daughter goes to school, whose son is one of the people in, you know, couple D, and he is babysat by someone in couple J who is friends with someone in couple B who lives in the same building as someone in couple G who's dating someone in couple D, and just it's all very interconnected, and that was fun. It was fun seeing how all of like literally all of them were interconnected. Beyond that though, the writing was not good. The acting, for the most part, it was bad. It was very stiff, but the good actors were good. You know, Julia Roberts, she is a good actor, and so she did a good job in this movie. Bradley Cooper is a good actor. He did a good job in this movie. Anne Hathaway, actually, I think she did the best job in this movie. I like Anne Hathaway. I've always thought she was a good actor. And she clearly, she was, even though this was not a good movie, she was not phoning it in. And Julia Roberts and Bradley Cooper were not either, but Anne Hathaway was very much not phoning it in. I will be very, very brief on the directing for all three of these. The directing for this seemed fine. The music in this was bad, but then when I saw New Year's Eve, which I'll get to in a second, when I saw New Year's Eve, I was like, you know, Valentine's Day was, the soundtrack was fine, I guess. Still bad, though. And everything about Valentine's Day seemed less bad once I watched New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is so bad. And then just the vibe overall was just so boring. It was so boring. I was never remotely invested in any of them. There was actually there were two kind of surprises that were nice, and I can't give them away, but they're, you know, someone is being mentioned all through the plot, but you never get to see them, and then you find out at the end that, oh, it's actually this person who has been in the movie the entire time somewhere else, and it's like, oh, that's interesting, okay. But yeah, for the most part, just very boring, and those were two, like, okay, I have 45 seconds left. Just not good. What I gave my little ratings for these, I gave the writing a 0.7 out of 2. I would have given it like a 0.2 or a 0.3, but like I said, the interconnectedness of every single plot gave it extra points. And again, it's, you know, it's a 0.7 out of 2. It's like below a 50%. This is well within the failing range. I gave the acting a 0.8. I gave the directing a 1.0 just because it's such a bad movie, but it seemed like it was fine. Music got a 1.0, and the vibe was a 0.3, all for a total of 3.8 out of 10. Not good. And my... Okay, how do I... There's usually a repeat button, but that's only if the display goes to sleep. The display was still on. And so you just have to stop it. But anyway, I'll go back up to the top. Remember, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. So I'll go to New Year's Eve next, which, you know, Valentine's Day was so bad, and then I watched New Year's Eve, and I was like, oh my God, it's even worse. Everything that was wrong with New Year's Eve went even wronger. I mean, everything wrong about Valentine's Day was even wronger in New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. The script was so bad. It had all of the flatness and the predictability and the zero depth of Valentine's Day, except it was just on steroids. And it was like 1,000 times cornier and just so bad. And I think it was a similar thing. I think they blew the entire budget on the cast and left nothing for the script, because the cast again is stacked. Had Michelle Pfeiffer, Zac Efron, Robert De Niro, Halle Berry, Alyssa Milano, Common, the rapper, if you don't know him, Jessica Biel, Seth Meyers, Sarah Paulson, Katherine Heigl, John Bon Jovi, who was, it was weird, he was playing a rock star who was not John Bon Jovi. I don't mean to keep saying his name, who was not Bon Jovi. And it was like, oh, you're playing yourself, except not you, but it's a guy who looks and sounds exactly like him, and is exactly a good of actor as he is. That was very poorly stated. Sofia Vergara was in it, and I liked her in this. She was probably my favorite character. I like her. I think she's funny. She has funny delivery of words. Ashton Kutcher, Leah Michelle, they were my least favorite storyline. They were trapped in an elevator together, and the whole movie was so boring, and then it would get to them, and it somehow just, the bottom fell out underneath the movie, and it sank into the trenches of hideous boredom. Who else is? Oh, Sarah Jessica Parker's in it. Abigail Breslin, she's good. I like her. She's a good actor. And Sarah Jessica Parker's a good actor too. I've been watching Sex and the City lately, and I like that show. Who else is in it? This is a long cast. Oh, Josh Duhamel. Oh, Yardley Smith, who my assumption is most people probably don't know who that is, but she's the voice of Lisa Simpson, and she's a lady who is, right now she's probably in her 50s, and so when this movie was made, she was probably like 45. But I recognized her face. I've seen the cast of The Simpsons before, and so I recognized her face, but I couldn't place her. And then it wasn't until she said the word dad at one point, like dad, talking to her husband, but in front of her kids, and husband and wife will call themselves mom and dad in front of the kids. And so she says like dad, and I was like, Lisa, that's Lisa Simpson, and it is. Who else is in this? Peggy Marshall, and then I think the last... Oh, Hilary Swank. I forgot about that. Ludacris. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's so many people in this. And Ryan Seacrest appeared as himself. Oh, and Michael Bloomberg, Mayor Bloomberg, appeared as himself in one point. It's New Year's Eve, and he pushes the button to make the ball drop. But this movie came out in 2011, 9 years before he ran for president and failed spectacularly. And it was like, oh, they don't know what's coming, like, at all. Yeah. So, yeah, but yeah, I think they blew the budget on that cast and left nothing for the script, which really showed in Valentine's Day and really shows in New Year's Eve. As for the acting, it's kind of similar to Valentine's Day, mostly not very good acting, but the good actors were good. Halle Berry was good. Robert De Niro was good. Who are the other? Michelle Pfeiffer is good. She's a good actor, obviously. Leah Michelle was good, even though I didn't like her character. She was just annoying, and she sang this awful, one of the worst versions of Auld Lang Syne I've ever heard. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but it was bad. The directing, again, I'll be quick, and similar to Valentine's Day, seemed like it was fine. The music in this one was horrible. It was horrible. There were a couple like original songs, I think, that like Bon Jovi's character played, and they were really bad. The only thing, and so as for the vibe overall, the only thing I enjoyed about this movie was seeing who was in it, and not even watching them on screen. I didn't like watching Halle Berry and Robert De Niro act together, but I liked seeing them on screen. The only thing I liked about this movie was seeing who was in it. That's bad. You don't want that if you make a movie. But so the little ratings breakdown, I give this one, for writing, I give it a 0.3 out of 2, because it did everything that Valentine's Day did wrong, and then nothing that it did right. I gave the acting a 0.6 out of 2 because it, again, just everything that Valentine's Day got wrong, and then none of the things it got right. Directing, I gave it a 1.0 out of 2 because it didn't seem like anything was right or wrong, but it was just so bad that it was, Oh my gosh. Okay. Time for like 10 more seconds. Gave the music a zero point 0.6 out of 2, 0.6 out of 2, because it was so bad. And it wasn't even fun to hear there were a couple, actual hit songs that would be featured in it, and the way they were featured in it was corny and stupid, and it didn't make it fun at all. The vibe of this, I gave it a 0.1 out of 2. It if the cast hadn't been so stacked, if I didn't enjoy seeing, like, oh, Halle Berry pops up as just a nurse, she's not even like the lead in her little segment. Had it been just a less compelling or a less interesting cast, it would be a 0.0. But so anyway, my total rating for New Year's Eve, my total for Valentine's Day was a 3.8. My total out of 10. My total for New Year's Eve is a 2.6 out of 10. Please don't watch this movie. But so anyway, I'm going to start my timer back over 6 minutes. Okay, and speed up to, okay, I'm at like 16 minutes right now. Go back up to the top. Remember, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So Love Actually was actually, my overall feeling on it is that it was actually very cute. It was good. I was worried after seeing how I hadn't seen Love Actually before. I saw a little tiny, I saw a bit. It was on at a Christmas party I went to one time, and so I saw bits of it, but didn't, take in the movie. I missed all but like 20 minutes of it, and those 20 minutes were spread across the whole movie. But so going into this, I was kind of worried. I was like, oh my god, is this gonna suck still? It had better reviews than the other two, but it was like, is this just gonna be shit? It was actually very good, and it felt like my palate had been cleansed of those first two movies. It was, watching Valentine's Day was like being in the middle position of the human centipede, and then watching New Year's Eve was like being at the back of a human centipede. But so Love Actually, it was like being at the actually, no, I was going to say the front of a human centipede, but no, it's not even that bad, because there's not even someone sewn to your butthole. Sorry, asshole. It was like just sitting at a yogurt restaurant eating some strawberry yogurt. No, not strawberry. I don't like strawberry. Chocolate, I guess. Chocolate. I feel like no sound came out when I said chocolate the first time. Chocolate. Anyway, it was cute. It was good. As for the writing, it was good. It leaned towards flat, but it's like 55-45 flat. It had actual depth and wit, and the characters felt actually fleshed out. There were a couple things that they would be brought up at the beginning and then never mentioned again, and you're not supposed to do that in movies. If something comes up in the beginning of a movie, you're supposed to show it at the end. If there's a gun on the wall in the beginning of the movie, someone is supposed to use that gun at the end. That's how movies work. Oh, I have an email. Oh, it's from DoorDash. They're trying to get me to sign up for like the Dash Pass, and I'll probably do it, honestly. But so yeah, like I said, for the most part, it was good. It was good writing. I think I would have given Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve a little bit more slack. They still would have gotten very poor ratings. But had Love Actually not been so well put together and well done, I think I would have given those movies a break, because I think this kind of thing would be hard to write. All these interwoven stories and these 10 different plots, each of which needs to have its own act structure. That would be hard. But Love Actually showed that it can be done, and so there's not really an excuse for Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve to have been so bad. The acting, it was good. It was good. As a whole, the acting was better than the acting was in either of the other two as a whole. I guess it was filled with mostly good actors, not just famous people, but good actors. Emma Thompson, she's a very good actor. Alan Rickman. But even like the kid actor, the son of like Liam Neeson, the kid actor was good, which is unusual. Kid actors usually aren't good. It's hard for kids to empathize. I think the empathy chip in your brain hasn't developed when you're a little kid. It's hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes. But so good acting in Love Actually, and the directing, it was good. There were actually several of those shots that I'll be quick about the directing, but there were several of those types of shots that I've talked about a couple times that are telling or significant. And there was a level of thought had gone into the directing of this movie that I don't think had gone into Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve. The music was good in this movie. All the soundtracks and even the score itself was good. The swell of music and the strings and the orchestra, it all sounded good, and it sounded, again, like thought had gone into it. And there was some cheesiness in the soundtrack. You know, sometimes a song would start playing at a very corny time, you know, as did not, this specifically did not happen, but, you know, as someone's walking away and someone looks sad, and this, you know, sad alternative rock song comes on, that's very corny. And there was stuff kind of like that occasionally, but for the most part, yeah, it was good. It was solid. And there was also an appearance by All I Want for Christmas Is You. I mentioned earlier in this video that I love Mariah Carey. So that was fun. The child did not sing it as well as she did, but that's fine. The vibe overall was that this was very cute and very sweet and fun and light, but it still felt real. And I totally, having seen this now, I always knew that people would watch this every Christmas. Having seen this now, I support that. I think that this should be a modern Christmas classic. And it seems like it is. Everyone has seen this movie. And for good reason. This is a well-made movie, and I can see how it was able to, you know, inspire these other lesser movies that come along and show you how not to do what someone else did. Kind of like with Mariah Carey, actually, you know, she's famous for her vocal range, but she's also a writer and producer. And then so these other, you know, every once in a while, some big-voiced, some very small-sized, big-voiced girl will come along, like Christina Aguilera, and everyone's like, oh, it's the new Mariah, except no, it's Mariah. You can go back and watch Mariah after listening to Christina Aguilera's music. I don't mean to pick on her, and see that, like, oh no, Mariah will show you how it's done. She's a very good writer and producer, not just a very good singer. But so anyway, yeah, Love Actually, I think it shows the other movies how it's done, how to do a well-crafted, you know, 10-plot ensemble cast romantic comedy movie. So for my little breakdown of the ratings, and then I will leave, so this doesn't go too long. I gave the writing a 1.3 out of 2, which might seem a little low. I appreciated the effort that they went into compared to those other two, but like I said, there were times when it was just flat. And I think that's because, you know, there's so many plots. What you're usually supposed to do is show, not tell. Like, for example, if a kid's parent is dead, you don't just have the kid announcing at breakfast, oh, I've been so sad ever since, you know, my dad died. What you're supposed to do is, you know, maybe show like a series of family photographs on the fireplace, all of this happy, you know, mom, dad, kid. And then the last picture is of just the mom and the kid, and they look sad, and maybe they're wearing black. And so the audience can understand, oh, the dad has died. And in these movies that are just so jam-packed, full of plot points and of characters, I think it's probably hard to go into that. You know, sometimes you just have to make them say, my dad's dead, so that the plot can keep moving. But again, I'll just, if my baseline's 1.5, I took a couple points off. I gave it 1.3. I gave the acting a 1.4, just because, again, sometimes it could be a little stiff, but I think it was far better than the other ratings for the acting I gave were 0.8 and 0.6, so a 1.4 is good. That's the total of those other two combined. I gave the directing a 1.5, which is my baseline. This was thought and care had gone into the directing, but it wasn't, you know, leaps and bounds into the future of cinema. I gave the music a 1.7. I would have gone higher because of the inclusion of Mariah Carey, and I just love her so much. But the inclusion of that song was not enough to overshadow the again, the corniness and kind of tropiness of some of the song inclusions and of some of the song starting points. Vibe overall, I gave a 1.6 out of 2. I might have given, if I was watching only this movie, I might have given it like a 1.7 or 1.8, not more than that. 1.8 would have been the absolute highest for vibe, but I think maybe I'd just gotten tired of seeing all these, each one of these movies was 2 hours, and so by the end of 6 hours of these movies, it was kind of like, oh, ensemble cast fatigue. But so my total rating for Love Actually was a 7.5 out of 10. That's very solid. That's into that. I think that heart will be purple if I remember right. Anything below a 4.5 is a brown heart, and so the first two get a brown, but this one gets purple. Purple's good. That's my favorite color. So anyway, if you're going to watch one of these three movies, I would recommend that it be Love Actually. That's a well-made movie, and it's a cute movie and sweet. If you need to watch New Year's Eve or Valentine's Day, if you want to watch one of those, I would recommend Valentine's Day. It is less unfun than New Year's Eve. It is not more fun than New Year's Eve. It's less unfun. But so anyway, thank you all very much for watching this. I'm hoping that the Super Bowl's not over yet. I'm not going to go watch it, but I'd like to see if the Chiefs have pulled back, ahead or have gotten closer. I hope they get, that would suck if they got fewer than 10 points in the game. I hope they at least get into the double digits. But so anyway, I will see you all here tomorrow. I'll go back to the normal single movie reviews for the next week. And then something's coming on February 14th, as well as the 21st and the 28th. So I guess every Sunday. I didn't realize that. But so anyway, yeah, I hope you all have a lovely night. I hope you all are enjoying the football game if you're watching it. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.